Time Walk with Me.
Hey everybody! Welcome back to Time Walk with me. I am the Time Walker, and this is Bill Ferny, Bree Swindler. I built this deck because it looked like a challenge. Bill is a 2/1 human rogue who costs a measly 1 generic and 1 blue mana to cast, and who has no evasion abilities, nor does he want them, because he wants to be blocked. If he is blocked, you either create a treasure token, or remove Bill from combat, give your opponent control of a horse that you control, and create 3 treasure tokens. I said treasures funny. Whatever, I'm not redoing it. Naturally, you want to put a lot of horses in this deck, but you'll also want ways to encourage your opponents to block Bill, and ways to spend all that treasure that win you the game. Here's how I did all that. All of these creatures are horses, even if some of them are also every other creature type. They are on sale now for the low price of 3 treasures each. Barkform Harvester. Birthing Boughs. Not a creature itself, but this artifact makes creatures with Changeling. Bloodline Pretender. Cobbled Lancer. Diamond Mare. Mistwalker. Moth Dust Changeling. Phantasmal Mount. Surge Mare. Universal Automaton, and Wavebreak Hippocamp. Don't know why I had trouble saying that. These cards either force your opponent to block Bill, or they strongly encourage them to. Army of Iroas. Every time a block is declined, Bill gets bigger and bigger. He also gets bigger when he is blocked, but he won't deal any damage that way unless you decide to just take 1 treasure. Ceremonial Knife. If Bill is let through, you'll get a blood token. Courtly Provocateur. If you know of any other cards like this that work in blue, let me know, but I couldn't find many. This human wizard forces a creature to attack or to block. Domineering Will. With this, even if an opponent has no blockers, you can lend them some of someone else's. Fire Shrieker. Combined with something like Ceremonial Knife, you can end up with double the tokens, since this makes Bill deal combat damage twice per attack. Gold Vein Pick. With this, you get your treasure whether Bill is blocked or not. Haunted Plate. This just makes Bill a lot bigger. Hero's Blade. This also just makes Bill bigger, but if it's out first, then it doesn't cost anything to equip it once Bill comes out. Loxodon Warhammer. Your opponent might not think it's such a big deal for you to gain a few life, but for 5 damage at minimum from a commander, they might decide it's best to block it and take a horse. Nemesis Mask. Your opponents will have to tap all their creatures down to avoid this equipment's effect. Rogue's Gloves. No way will your opponent want you to draw a card for dealing commander damage to them. Stolen Identity. This creates a copy of target artifact or creature and then encodes onto Bill so that you can cast a copy of this spell whenever he gets an attack through. This might even be preferable to selling them a horse. Sword of Vengeance. This just makes Bill into a much better attacker. And the Key to the Vault. Your opponent will definitely want to block to stop you from getting a free spell among the top 2 or more cards of your library. You might find yourself with some creatures you want to sell that aren't horses. If that happens, these cards can help. Amoeboid Changeling. Amorphous Axe. Artificial Evolution. This can either turn something into a horse or change what Bill sells. He could become a human trafficker if that works better for you. Image Crafter, Rune Stalactite, and Unnatural Selection. Do you want your horse back, but you don't want to return the money? That's what these cards are good for. Alchemist's Retrieval. Eye of Nowhere. Failed Fording. Hercule's Final Meditation. This one kind of works as a board wipe too. Well, blue's version of wiping the board. Into the Royal. Perilous Voyage. Repulse. Riddlemaster Sphinx. Runaway Together. Selective Snare. Unauthorized Exit. And the classic Unsummon. Once you're rich with treasures, you'll need something expensive to spend it on. Like Hullbreaker Horror, Mohammedijin, Octavia Living Thesis, Phantom Steed, Serpent of Yawning Depths, and Shipbreaker Kraken. I always used to say Kraken, but I mostly hear people say Kraken, so I've kind of adapted to that. Bumble Flowers Sharepot. The bounce spells can double as this deck's interaction section, but I also put this in case something needs to be destroyed. Dig Through Time. Maybe I should have put in more draw spells, but at least there are a few, like this gem here. Diluvium Primordial. Late in the game, you could end up with a nice selection of spells to cast for free. Drafna, founder of Latinam. This guy will give you copies of your artifact spells and bounce them back to your hand so you can cast and copy them again. Inspired Idea. You'll be able to easily afford paying this spell's cleave costs, so you don't have to worry about that hand size reduction. Nexus of Fate. It's fun to take repeatable extra turns. And Rite of Replication. Make 5 copies of Hullbreaker Horror and watch people scoop. I didn't put too much ramp in here since Bill will provide you with lots of treasure, but I did put in a few things. Arcane Signet, Explorer's Scope, Felwar Stone, Heraldic Banner, Seer's Lantern, Solemn Simulacrum, and Worn Power Stone. No Soul Ring here, not really necessary. More and more, I'm starting to move away from using a lot of non-basic lands, plus a lot of my good stuff is in other decks already. So for this deck, I only included Islands and Hidden Cataract. So there we have it. That is Bill Ferny, Bree Swindler. That is my shot at making a good deck out of him. Let me know what you think. You think I succeeded? I guess time will tell if I ever get a chance to play with this deck, and I will see you next time.